Before we get going, I just want to assure you there will be no leaks for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet in this video. So, leaks. Love them or hate them, you have to admit that they're becoming more prevalent with every new game announced by the Pokemon Company. And is it any surprise? Clearly there's an audience for them. At time of writing, if I search Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on YouTube, 3 of the top 5 videos are about leaks, with the other 2 being the actual trailers. This is not to throw shade at any of the creators producing the content. They're clearly providing a service for the people who are looking for that information, but it does highlight the pervasive problem that is leaking within the Pokemon community. And I've not even mentioned Twitter, where if you're even partially involved in this community and haven't got the foresight to block certain words and hashtags, then it's almost impossible to avoid the onslaught of leaked information. Why then do I think this is a problem? I mean, there's leaks in all forms of media, right? When's the last time you watched a Marvel movie where character cameos or plot points weren't spoiled for you by leaks? In the modern age of social media where information can travel across the world instantaneously, and people more than ever are hungry to know everything they can about their favorite franchise, and when news articles and YouTubers can look to profit massively from providing all those juicy scoops, is this not simply a case of something we all just have to get used to in today's world? Well, call me a boomer all you like, but I want these leaks off my lawn, and you should too. Here's the thing. Despite the frustration people are feeling at what seems like a lack of information coming out about Scarlet and Violet, companies spend a lot of time planning exactly how much of their product they want to tease before release. And the Pokemon Company is no exception. In fact, this is especially true with a franchise like Pokemon, where the games are supposed to be about exploration and discovery. The experience that the game designers are trying to craft for you, that moment of wonder as you run over the crest of a hill, the landscape opens up in front of you, and you see a brand new Pokemon for the first time, is entirely diminished if you already know what you're going to see and where. The phrase, wonderful world of Pokemon, isn't just a saying. The Pokemon world is supposed to be full of wonder. You're supposed to unravel the mysteries on your journey through a new region and discover all that it has to offer. That is the magic that these games hold, to bring you back to that childlike level of excitement and awe. If you know all the information going in, you are robbing yourself of that experience. None of that, of course, is to say that this is something new to Pokemon with Scarlet and Violet. There have been a bunch of leaks for every game basically since the mass adoption of the internet. This is far from a comprehensive list, but it will at least give you a nice overview of how long this kind of thing has been going on. Before the release of Pokemon Black and White, for instance, the webmaster Pokeexperto, Melkor, leaked nearly the entire Pokedex. The leak lacked the names of the Pokemon, but contained Pokedex numbers, typing, and a description of most of the Pokemon seen in Unova. Pokeexperto, I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm sorry if that's not, has been referred to as the Spanish Cerebi.net, and Melkor themselves has come out and spoken about their own thoughts about their leaks, as well as the ramifications they received from the Pokemon Company. Being both a lawyer and a Pokemon fan has some advantages. I know something about copyright law, which led me to follow the fan art strategy. We got a cease and desist letter from Nintendo's lawyer Cooley, requesting us to remove the alpha sprites from Black and White and the fan arts of Hero. I removed the former, but not the latter, based on exceptions under copyright law. I thought that revealing those sprites after the games were released in practice, but some days before official release, would be safe enough. The Pokemon Company did not agree with me on that. I honestly intend no harm to them or the Pokemon franchise in revealing any information. I am a Pokemon fan first and foremost, and want this franchise to grow more complex and interesting. The leaker named Hero, referred to in this passage, managed to prove their own validity as a leaker by posting art of Purloin mere hours before it was officially revealed. Before the release of Generation 6, Hero would go on to reveal the existence of fairy types being present in the game. On top of that, he leaked that the newly revealed Xerneas and Sylveon would have the typing, so too would past Pokemon like Clefairy and Togetic. This whole affair got given the name #Fairygate. A huge reveal for sure, and one that got the community talking, but tragedy truly struck for the X and Y Pokemon games when some game stores actually released the game early, leading to those who could snatch up copies to leak information on the entire game online. Nothing, though, compares to how much was leaked regarding Sun and Moon. And this is where I feel the argument we have seen from some leakers online that if there was more official information they wouldn't leak so much, truly falls apart. Sun and Moon had one of the most active reveal cycles ever, with new information being released practically on a weekly basis, showing off new Pokemon, Alolan variants, trainers and rivals, legendary Pokemon, the works. And yet, this still wasn't enough for people. Famously, the concept sheets for the 3 starters' final evolutions leaked, which was then confirmed once Mallow, who was previously seen on the Incineroar page, was officially revealed. Plus, when the demo for the games came out, it was data mined, and the entire Alolan Pokédex was put online for all to see. Let's briefly touch on data mining. You see, unlike typical leaks which require an insider to share information, or as is the case with the release of the beta games from generations 1 to 4 in 2018, a hack of Nintendo's servers, data mining occurs almost immediately after people get their hands on a physical copy of the game, and could look at the source code. This basically meant that once the practice became commonplace, event-exclusive and mythical Pokemon were known about often the day the game was released, despite the fact that they wouldn't be available in some cases for many months to any who wanted a legitimate one. This kind of practice was eventually combated with the introduction of DLC and patch updates in Generation 8, meaning that a Pokemon wouldn't actually be added into the game code until it was released. But with the entire Pokédex being available to see, the leaks for Gen 7 couldn't possibly get worse, right? Well, once again, a selection of game distributors sold copies of the game prior to the official release date. And due to the improvements made to emulating 3DS games at that point, the entire game was available for download through emulation sites before the game was even meant to hit store shelves. In an attempt to deter people from playing the ROM, anyone who played an illegally acquired copy of the game and went online with it on their 3DS got their console banned permanently from accessing online services. When it came to Generation 8, the first real leak came from the most unlikely of sources. The notorious forum site 4chan had an anonymous post put up that has since been dubbed the Affleck Leak. This detailed everything from starter evolutions to the new legendaries, descriptions of characters and Pokemon, and even the new gimmick of Dynamaxing and Gigantamaxing. Due to 4chan usually being full of fake leaks, most people didn't take it seriously at the time. Only later, when much of the information proved to be accurate to things seen in pre-release trailers, was the post suddenly held up as a true leak. Someone who worked for a printing company tasked with producing the strategy guide for Sword and Shield took pictures of the guide, and another person shared them on Discord. Predictably, these quickly made their way online, but perhaps what these leakers didn't expect was Nintendo to sue them for $150,000 in damages. After having dealt with increasing numbers and severity of leaks in the past years, Nintendo and the Pokemon Company had begun to become increasingly aggressive with their takedowns and legal actions against leakers. A Portuguese fan site called F Nintendo broke their NDA with Nintendo when a freelancer hired to cover their pre-release copy of the game leaked a bunch of information online. After that, Nintendo blacklisted the site and denied them further access to events and any products provided to them by Nintendo themselves. Oh, and guess what? A week before the game's official release? That's right, a store sold copies early and caused information on the whole game to be leaked online once again. The exact same thing happened with Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but apparently, some people who got their hands on the game early weren't happy to simply enjoy the experience on their own and instead streamed their whole playthrough on Twitch. Naturally, Nintendo came down hard and fast with the DMCAs. Copies of Legend Arceus were also found on sale before its release date, this time on auction sites, and with emulation software once again having improved, a ROM of the game was available to download and play in its entirety before the game was even out. So hopefully you can see that leaks, when it comes to this franchise, have been getting progressively worse over the years. And despite efforts from Nintendo to issue takedowns and slap people with lawsuits, it seems that for every leaker they take down, 2 more take their place. Metaphorically, of course. I'm not suggesting they're combating some leaky hydra. The question is then, if this has been happening since Generation 5, then why am I saying it's such a problem now? Well, maybe from my own personal stance, this is my first release cycle actually being a Pokemon theorist. And whether I like it or not, my speculation on Scarlet and Violet can be quote-unquote proved or disproved by leaks. So even if I don't go searching for this info, someone's gotta let me know what a leaker has said in my comments. But also, it seems that even those who cover leaks on a daily basis are under the impression that what's been coming out about Scarlet and Violet has been too much, too fast, leaving little left to be surprised about. And that's the real shame of it all. To hear information from a leaker isn't exciting, it's not a fun experience, at least not compared to an official reveal or discovering things for yourself in-game, especially considering these recent leaks have often just been text dumps, as opposed to the beautiful official artwork or gameplay footage you could expect with an official release. And I'm not really sure how to finish this video. There's no real thesis here, other than leaks are bad and I wish there weren't so many of them. That's it. Go watch this video now, if you want to see some of my own speculation that may or may not be true. Bye.